Hey crafty friends, Jen Cascell here. I am back with another tutorial for Scrap Diva Designs. Before we get started, here is her website and all of the info on the back. Make sure to use that hashtag Scrap Diva Designs for some amazing inspiration. And as always, if I've inspired you in any way, please feel free to use my coupon code JEN10 for 10% off your purchase at the shop. I super appreciate everybody who used my coupon code and affiliate link this month. I do get a small kickback, and it helps me continue to create free content for you. So today we are going to be making some shakers. We'll be focusing on the ice cream bunny die that came out during the March release for Scrap Diva Designs. The number one question I am asked is how I do my adhesive foam for making shakers. So today I am going to give you all of my tips and tricks to making these fun little embellishments. So first, let's take a look at the ones that I showed during my release video. There are two sizes within the die, so you do get a small and a large one. These here are the small ones, and they do measure about 3 1/4 by 2 1/4. And then we have the larger ones right here. Oh my God, so stinking cute. And these large ones measure about 4 1/4 by 2 1/2. So to make the shaker portion of these embellishments and the embellishment itself, I create my own adhesive foam. So this adhesive foam works really, really well in your Sizzix or other die cutting machine, but you can also run it through your Cricut as well. I have a Cricut maker, so I do a custom setting for it. So depending upon your machine, you can use different settings and play with it to see what kind of thickness you're going to end up with. So as you can see, this is the sheet adhesive that I use. Full disclosure, this sheet adhesive is not available on the market. It is a prototype for a company that I work for, and they had just given us a whole bunch of it to try out. There was so much of it that I have not used it yet, but I have used sheet adhesive from other companies that you can pick up. Scrapbook.com has a really good sheet adhesive that I've used before, and you can also find it at Michael's, Joann's, any of those kind of stores, as well as Amazon. As you can see, I just cut off smaller chunks instead of using an entire sheet of it, but that's completely up to you. You can do it either way. And of course, you are going to need craft foam. So I am just using 2mm craft foam, the same craft foam that you get at Michael's, Joann's, those sort of places. You can use 3mm foam with it, and of course 1mm is absolutely fine too. I have tried this with the 5mm craft foam, which it will work, but you are going to have to use an X-Acto knife with it. Now, I will say that I have bought already pre-adhesive craft foam from like Amazon, and although it does work, it is a bit on the thinner side. It has a different density than regular craft foam that you would buy, and therefore it kind of thins out a little bit in your machine. I find it happening less so when I make my own with standard sheet adhesive and craft foam. So to get started, I am just starting with a small piece of foam that fits my die cut, and I'm going to use that as a guide to cut out my sheet adhesive. You are going to want a piece for the front as well as a piece for the back. The adhesive sheet that I'm using has kind of a vinyl layer on one side and then a paper layer on the other side. I try to keep the adhesive on the paper layer just because I think it cuts in my machine a little better, but that's completely up to you. I'm applying it to the front and then also to the back as well. Now, one of the things that I really like about making my own adhesive foam is that you can do it in different colors. The only ones that I have found pre-made are in white, so it's kind of cool that you can do whatever color you want using this technique. And I have this small piece of pink right here that I'm going to use for the ice cream itself in the embellishment. So I've already pre-cut some adhesive to go on this pink foam. So I am just applying that first sheet to the front of the foam, and then of course taking the backing off and applying the back as well. Once I have applied the backing, it will be ready to run through my Sizzix. I will note that by applying the adhesive to the foam, you are really going to not get too much of a spread with this. And I don't know if you've noticed, but I do when I'm running foam through my Sizzix. Sometimes it'll spread out a little bit, and having the adhesive on it really stops that from happening. So I am going to run through my different components on my Sizzix, and I will be right back. All right, so I have all of my components cut out of foam as well as the paper that I'm using. So with this die set, you get the background piece, you also get the ice cream layer, you have the ice cream itself as well as the shaker layer, and you do get ears and a face with each size. So I've cut out all of these components, although I am not doing the faces for this. I will note that whenever I'm using adhesive foam or anything thick or very intricate, I do use a precision plate. If you're not familiar with what a precision plate is, it's just a metal shim that I put underneath the first plate of my sandwich. So for me, I replaced one of my cutting plates with the magic mat from scrapbook.com, which is kind of like a self-healing mat that will extend the life of your plates. So I placed the precision plate underneath my magic mat, and then I put my foam, my die cut, and then my plate on top of that, and that's my sandwich that I run through. The precision plate is also really good for cutting acetate. If you're not getting a good cut with that, you should really try the precision plate. It'll cut through really nicely for you. Now, if I want a really, really intricate cut, I put the die directly on top of my plate. If you don't mind seeing the cuts like you see on mine, it's really not that big of a deal, but you can place it underneath and you'll get a really, really good cut. So I am going to start with the larger of the ice cream cones first. This right here is going to be my background. I am going to take the top layer of adhesive off and place my paper on top of it. What's nice is I'm going to leave the adhesive on the back, so when I'm ready to apply my embellishment, I can just take that layer off and stick it directly to my project. So just go ahead and place your paper on top like so. Now, obviously, you don't have to do the back layer in foam, but I really like having a nice solid embellishment, and I think that adds to the overall thickness and durability of it. Next, I'm going to add the ice cream cone layer to this, and I just took the top layer of adhesive off and applying the textured cone paper on top of it. You can go ahead and add that to your background layer. Next, I'm going to add the pink ice cream layer to it. I'm just going to use regular Barely Art glue for this. Then you can go ahead and add the shaker portion of the ice cream, and I am just taking off the back of that layer and lining everything up with the base of the cone. With this die, I found it easiest to line up the curved portion of the ice cream and then following along to the top. Make sure to really press that down to make sure that everything is sealed properly. Now I'll just add my bunny ears to the top using some Barely Art glue for that as well. Once I have that in place, I'm just going to set this aside and get started on the smaller ice cream cone. So starting putting the back layer on first. This time I'm doing a white bunny, as you can see. Now I'm adding the ice cream cone layer and applying that paper to the front of my foam and placing it directly on top of my background layer. Go ahead and add the ice cream layer to the background using some Barely Art glue. Next, you can go ahead and add the shaker layer to the top. Take that adhesive off the back and line it up as best you can. And I went ahead and added the bunny ears as well. So I went ahead and added some shaker mix to the inside portion. The shaker mix that I am using is from Fanciful Chaos. This is just a really cute spring Easter mix that I have from her. Absolutely love it. Filled that up, and then I also used these cute little chocolate mint shaker that I had in my stash. I've also added some nonpareils to my shaker mix. I love using them because they give you a great sound when you're shaking that embellishment. Now for this portion, I grab my tweezers and a silicone finger pad that is used for hot glue, but I like using it because it won't stick to the adhesive as you're pulling it off. So be really careful with this and pull off that adhesive layer. And now you can go ahead and add that acetate to the top. I use Barely Art acetate for this. Make sure to press it down really well. I'll use my hands first, and then I'll flip my tweezers over and use the flat edge of the tweezers to really press and make sure that there are no pockets to let the shaker mix inside escape. If you want some added durability, you can go ahead and add a bead of hot glue right around that edge to make sure that nothing's coming out of that. But this is a really good adhesive, so I'm going to go ahead and skip that step. Next, I'm going to grab this pink glitter layer, and I'm just running a thin bead of Barely Art all the way around it. Grab your silicone brush for this step. This is my number one tip for using acetate. You want to spread that glue thin. You want it tacky but not super wet when applying it to the acetate, and that's going to help grab it quicker, and you're not going to have a lot of sliding around on the acetate. So just go ahead and apply that to the top. Next, we're going to do the exact same thing with the smaller. I have my tweezers and I'm pulling that top layer adhesive off and adding my acetate layer directly on top of the adhesive. First, I'll use my hands to press it down, and then I'll switch over to my tweezers to really press that in and make sure that nothing's going to escape. Go ahead and add some glue to the back of my glitter layer, and then I will grab my silicone brush and spread it thin. And then you can just go ahead and apply that on top to cover up your foam layer. So I do have these cute little bunny feet that I am using, and I am using the Easter treat box die for these bunny feet. Absolutely adorable. I've cut them out of both foam and paper, and I thought they could be really cute layered up to use on one of the cones. So I'm just going to go ahead and apply them to the larger of the bunny ice cream. Oh my gosh, so stinking cute. So I'm just going to add a few quick embellishments and I will be right back. Okay, so I kept the embellishments super simple. For the larger one, I just added a cute little bow. This is a Scrap Diva bow with adorable little flatback strawberry in the center of it. So stinking cute. Use that favorite gold glitter cardstock from 12 by 12 that I absolutely love. I really didn't think it needed too much other than that. And then I found this cute little iridescent bow and bunny ice cream cone flatbacks that I had in my stash and applied that to the mint chocolate one. So I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Once again, if I've inspired you in any way, please feel free to use my coupon code GEN10 for 10% off your purchase at the shop. I super appreciate everyone who uses my coupon code and affiliate link, and also all of the comments that you guys leave on my videos. I just can't thank you enough. I can't thank you enough for the love and support, and just know that I super appreciate it. So if you enjoyed this, let me know. And if you're going to use this adhesive foam, show me. I love seeing what you're creating. And once again, if you like this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button for more crafty content. I'll see you in the next crafty video. Bye!